Hello, welcome. It's lovely to see you again. Today I'm actually going to spend my time on this video answering an email that I've had from one of my somebody on my subscription list. In it she says, "Dear Camilla, my husband and I love each other very deeply. We are very, very good friends and very committed to each other. We want to regain sexual intimacy, but we struggle to make the time that we need. What advice would you give us?" So, as I said, I receive emails quite often, and very often, whether it's by email or when I'm working with people in person, time comes up time and time and time again. Time is like this barrier to entry, it seems to me. People are telling me that their lack of time means that they can't connect with their partner. Now, when I'm working with people and time comes up as this objection, I will very often start with a bit of a challenge. I'll say, okay, so you're telling me you have basically no time for sex or sexual intimacy. So tell me, how many hours a week do you spend watching television? Like, I know your life is busy. I know you've got kids. I know you've got to walk the dog. You've got to prepare meals. You're shopping. You're cleaning. You're holding down a job. Your lives are very, very busy. And then at the end of the day, when you take a rest, what are you doing? Are you on social media? Are you in the television? Like, what is your rest time being spent doing? And everybody, and I include myself in this, I absolutely 100% include myself with this, is we tend to just go flop on the sofa, maybe with a glass of wine, we're watching television, we're scrolling social media. What we don't do is set in stone or joyfully, not even let's forget that statement, set in stone. What we don't do is joyfully kind of skip up the stairs with our partner to bed and go, well, hey, we've got some time together. We don't seem to do that. So what's going on? Sexual intimacy is something we all deeply, deeply yearn for and crave. Like, it's such a basic human need. We really need to connect with people in our lives. We need the touch. We need the pleasure. We need orgasm. Like, we need this. It's like, this is nourishment for life. So what are we doing avoiding it so much? And actually, we are avoiding it. When we're spending time watching television or scrolling on newsfeed, we're avoiding spending time with our partner. And yes, we're busy. So time with our loved ones, it's precious, and we need to nourish it, we need to value it, we need to celebrate it, we need to absolutely ring fence this time, but we're not. Why are we not? So I think when you dig deeper, the reason why we all, and I do count myself included in this, is when you get beyond the early, exciting, fizzy days of a new relationship, sex kind of moves into a kind of bit of an awkward territory. We haven't had any education. We haven't been taught how to stay connected with somebody. We yearn for that fizzy chemistry in the early days, and we measure everything against those early days. So one of the things we're avoiding when we're avoiding intimacy with our partners, we're kind of avoiding the disappointment that it didn't feel like it used to. We're disappointed with ourselves. We're disappointed with our changing bodies. Like, how fucked up is that? Like, particularly mothers, we're disappointed because our bodies don't look like they did before we had kids. I mean, that's screwy. We've just done the most incredible, powerful act on earth. We've given birth to new life, and then we berate our bodies because they don't look like they did before we did this. Oh, that's crazy, but we do it. I do it too. Men will berate themselves because they don't get as hard, they don't last as long, they haven't got the same perfect bodies. There's so much measurement and comparison and constantly setting the bar at a certain level, which you kind of like whatever level we set it at, and then kind of if we don't meet that bar, we finish the experience disappointed, a bit let down, sad. One of the things that I think is so beautiful about Tantra is it teaches us to connect with ourselves, our experiences, our sensations, our bodies in every single moment, whether it's during sexual intimacy or other points of the day, but we connect in the here and now. It's the ultimate kind of mindfulness process or practice. And when we deeply connect with what we're experiencing, with the experience of now, we stop having to compare, we stop expecting something else. We just enjoy and take pleasure from what we are experiencing right now. Sex becomes vulnerable. When we're avoiding sex, when we're sitting watching television and avoiding sex, I think it's because there's a vulnerability. Like when our bodies change, when we change, when our desires change, when our needs change, there's an incredible vulnerability. Again, this vulnerability comes out of a confusion, a lack of understanding, a lack of knowing. But the thing about sex and sexual intimacy is we want to hide from each other. Like to be completely open and honest and connected with another person is a deeply vulnerable process, because you risk being rejected, you risk being abandoned, you risk, oh my God, you risk being humiliated, you risk so, like, people can shame you and humiliate you and make you fear and hate yourself so easily, kind of more with sex than with anything else, which is why I think it's so important that both partners are always so mindful about how they speak to each other and hold the space for each other. And again, because we haven't learnt the skills, because we haven't been taught anything, we just... it seems to me that we expect, like, the power of chemistry, the power of that fizz of new relationship energy to just kind of surge through us and carry us through all the vulnerability, the awkwardness, the fear, the shame, the disgust. And when that energy fades, and we've actually got to go a bit deeper, and we've got to face our fear, we've got to face our shame, we've got to face the disgust we feel, we've got to face the awkwardness and our deep, deep vulnerability. We all do. So I think to me, we all have time. We all have time for sex. It's a question of prioritising it, and it's a question of not avoiding it. So when I hear people saying, I want to do this and I want to do that, but we lack the time, what I'm hearing is we are in avoidance, and that's where we start doing the work. It's about finding out, what are you avoiding? What is it that's scaring you right now? What is it that you fear? What expectations do you have that you fear you're not going to meet? And let me teach you a different route. Let me teach you a different way into sex, a different way of experiencing your body, a different way of experiencing your partner's body, a different way of experiencing sex and sexuality in your body on this planet in this moment. Like, let me guide you to a completely different way of doing sex, because when you do that, suddenly you find you have the time, because it's no longer scary, it's no longer as vulnerable, and sex becomes something that can connect you again and make you feel safe and make you feel like you belong again, as opposed to this kind of great big scary thing that we just put off facing. Sex shouldn't be scary. Sex should never ever be scary. Sex in a long-term relationship should be such a beautiful, connecting, joyful experience. Because like you, I still find sex vulnerable. I still struggle with feeling disappointment. You know, I mean, I'm now 50, in my early 40s. I had a very different sexual energy to what I do now, and I have a lot of disappointment running through me, which I'm working with, and I'm trying to get to know my new body and honour her exactly as she is now, and enjoy every single moment of pleasure that feels very different to what it used to feel. But you know, I also avoid it. So we, in my relationship, we've set time. We have we're quite, I'm going to avoid rigid. We prioritise and we honour the going to bed together before we need to go to sleep. A good half hour to an hour before we need to go to sleep, we go to bed together, so we can be connected, we can feel our bodies together, we can talk about the day, we communicate both through language but also through bodies. We allow our bodies to talk. We connect again, physically as well as intellectually. Every morning the alarm is set for half an hour before we have to get up. Yeah, partly because we don't want to get out of bed, but also because we want to spend that not wanting to get out of bed together with each other, in each other's arms, waking up slowly, saying, I love you, I love me, together, looking into each other's eyes, feeling connected before we get out of bed. And the third thing that we do, and this is, we're very lucky, my kids go off to their dad every single Thursday night, and every single Thursday night, that is our night where we don't put things in the diary, we don't go out, we don't socialise, it's our night. And the one thing I will always, always offer my children, if they should go ahead and have children themselves, is I will offer them time to be with their partner. I think it's such a gift that grandparents can give children. It's like, the most important thing for children in their lives is connected, happy parents, and the most important thing for connected, happy parents is that they are having some kind of sexual intimacy. So make that time, book a babysitter, farm them out to parents, allow them to watch TV on a Saturday morning. for as long as they want to watch, so you can spend the morning in bed. Get comfortable with making the time to be with each other, and ring fence that time, honour that time. Don't make excuses, don't take bookings in that time. But really, really make that time for each other. And when you've made the time and you hear the excuses coming up, recognise what those excuses are. Like, it's not really time you don't have. It's inclination, it's bravery, it's courage, it's commitment. It's a different thing. It's not time. You have time. We all have time. It's the choices we make and how we use our time. All right. I hope you got some value from today. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And then if you want to subscribe to my email list, go into the comments below where you'll find a link to do that. It's been lovely to talk to you. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye now.